Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Jenae and today I've done a makeup tutorial for you that includes the look I'm wearing today. Kind of bronzy, faded into brown with a nice glowy highlighted skin and nude lip. If you want to see how I achieved this look, just keep watching. Thank you so much and I appreciate all of your comments down below as well as a subscription and like if you enjoyed this video. I'll talk to you soon. I'm going to go in with an eyeshadow primer. This is a Paint Pot by MAC. This particular color was limited edition. It's called Nubile, but it's very, very similar to MAC's Painterly. It's just a flesh tone, creamy eyeshadow base that's going to help the eyeshadow stay on without creasing and just make the colors a little bit more intense and a little bit more true to the way they look in the packaging. Brush. This one is the 242. It is a synthetic small bristled brush, but you can use your finger or any makeup brush will do. It's a really thin layer. I'm using a Prolongwear color in Uninterrupted by MAC. It's a really pretty kind of mustardy brown, almost slightly like yellowy, but it's just going to give us a nice transition from the crease to the brow highlight and act as a background color to keep everything nice and cohesive and blended. And to intensify just the outer crease a little bit more, I'm going to use a smaller blending brush. It's a little bit more precise, and I'm going to go in, I'm sorry, I'm using my palette and it's really hard to get the colors out, but it's this dark brown shade right here, really deep chocolatey brown. It's called Embark. I always like to stick with more matte colors in my crease because they help create more dimension to the eye, whereas if you put a shimmery color there, it's going to reflect the light away and it won't look as blended. So I'm really saturating that color on the outer V of my eye, right below the first crease color we deposited. So picking up my clean 224 again, I'm just going to soften up the two colors together so that there's no harsh lines. So, going back to different synthetic flat brush. You can use a natural haired brush if you want. For today I like to use a synthetic one because I'm going to be using a really lustery kind of shimmer for the eye lid, and I find that I can pick up the color a little bit better with a synthetic brush versus a natural hair brush. So the color that I'm going to use today is called Honeylust. Honeylust. And just pat, pat, pat. Again, don't worry about all the precision quite yet on the eye because we always go back in and blend it out. That's really the key to layering different colors like this, is to blend everything together. Okay, back to my 224, my favorite. And I'm just going to shear the two colors together lightly. You guys can see that? Now for my top liner, I like to use a gel liner, fluid line to be exact, by MAC. This color is in Blacktrack. It's just a black gel liner. You can totally use a pencil liner if you feel more comfortable, or a liquid liner. I find that liquid liners are a little bit slippery for me. I'm cool like when I go over them, like over lashes or something, but just to go straight into my eye, it's just a hot mess. So I prefer a gel. I have a little bit more control, and I like to use a really little, precise, tiny, tiny brush. This one is a 210 by MAC. Really, really small. So if you feel, again, more comfortable with an angled brush, by all means, do what you gotta do, girl. I have really dry, pretty sensitive skin, and I don't really go for like a crazy full coverage foundation look, but I do find that I can get a pretty decent amount of coverage and still look like skin, but in a pretty flawless way by using a combination of some products. The main reason I like to use the BB cream is because it gives me a little bit of coverage. So like on days when I don't want coverage, it's easy to blend on. You could totally throw this on with a look like this. You don't have to go in with a full foundation. But my main purpose is the SPF. So I do 2 little pumps of my BB cream, and then the foundation that I prefer is Face and Body by MAC. This is a water-based foundation. It's really, really good if you have normal to dry skin. And I mean, you can see it's, okay, maybe, it's really lightweight. Again, this is a really hydrating and dewy finished foundation, so if you are somebody who has really oily skin, you probably won't be that into it. I'm going to take this Wannabe Beauty Blender by MAC. It's just MAC's version of a beauty blender. It's kind of has 2 sides to it, which I like a little bit better because I can get right up underneath my eyes with the pointier edge and then blend out the foundation super quick with the round tip. So, moving on to concealer. The 2 that I'm going to go in with for my under eye concealer are the NYX HD Photogenic Concealer. A little bit lower. I don't need to bring it quite as high like to my lash line as last time. And I know it might look like I'm putting on like a ridiculous amount, but I swear I'm not. It's like one little swap. Bringing it back into my hairline. For today's contour, I'm using N.Y.C Bronzer. This stuff is the jam for like $2, let me tell you. N.Y.C Smooth Skin Bronzing Face Powder, and the color is Sunny. Yeah. And I'm going to start in the back of my hairline. And really blend underneath those cheekbones. I'm just going to use whatever product is left on my brush to just kind of help frame the rest of the face. You don't have to do this, but I just like to. I think it looks a little bit more balanced. And warm up just the temples of my forehead. Again, blending it right back into my hairline. Anywhere that the sun would kind of naturally hit you is somewhere that where you want to add some warmth back into your skin, since you've basically covered up any contour or highlight that you would naturally have by applying a full face of foundation. So next, I'm going to use a combination of 2 blushes. I'm going in with kind of a peachier Mineralize blush. It looks really orange on camera, but I promise it's a little more sheer. This one was a limited edition blush, but I know that at drugstores there is one by Milani called Luminoso that's extremely similar to this. The only reason I haven't picked it up, even though I have been eyeballing it forever, is because I already own this one, and I'm like, Jenae, don't do it. You already own something so similar. So I'm going to take a little bit of this, and I'm using just an E.L.F blush brush. Has a little bit of a tapered end to it. These brushes are bomb, by the way. And just stipple that, or I guess more blend that, really lightly on top of the bronzer, starting at the apples of my cheek. So the second color I'm using is another MAC blush. This one, again, was another limited one. I know you guys are going to hate me for that, but there's a ton of similar colors to this. Maybe I'll do like a dupes video like in the future and kind of swatch and switch different colors that are similar for you guys that are like limited edition you can't find anymore. But anyway, this one's called Unconventional. Wow. It's like a really light, frosty, sheer pink. So I'm not going to put this all over, and I do find that it's a little bit too light for me to wear just as a single blush by itself, but I've been loving the combination with the peachier tone and just popping this right on my apples. The powder that I'm going to use super little of is MAC Studio Careblend in medium dark. Kind of dry out your skin over time or settle into any fine lines like some powders. I'm going to use HardCandy's. I just picked this up because I've seen so many YouTubers like boasting about it, and I was like, okay, let me try. It's called TIKI by HardCandy, and I'm not one for like a crazy frosty shimmer, so I thought this would be a good like in-between shade, I suppose. It's a little bit goldeny pink, so I'm just going to pop that with my hand right above my cheekbone, kind of where I laid that concealer down, and with just a flat-tipped brush and pick up a little bit of like that Embark that we originally used to define the outer crease out here, and just gently kind of diffuse it underneath the lash line if you want a little bit softer of a look. And the first brush that we used that had the uninterrupted kind of soft background color, I'm going to blend underneath. So I'm going to go in with some mascara, but first I gotta curl these bad boys. So using my MAC eyelash curler, but let's be honest, any lash curler will do. The first coat of mascara I'm going to do is by Maybelline, the Falsies Volume Express. I can't even tell you how dope this mascara is. Now I gotta go in with number 2, which is my MAC False Lashes mascara. And I like to set this one on top because I think it's a very buildable mascara. And the brush is a little bit more firm. So after I have one coat, I think it's pretty easy to layer on another coat without it flaking or clumping. And lastly for the eyes, I'm just going to go ahead and highlight my inner tear duct with this color in my palette called Nylon. Just going to highlight, blend in a little on the top, a little on the bottom. See the difference? I just think it's like so much brighter. I'm going to go in with Myth lipstick. It's just a really creamy satin nude. That's the blush from earlier, and that's Myth. I do like to powder down my lips a little bit just to help my lipstick stay on a little bit longer.